Hey everybody, this is Bonnie Barker with Bonnie Bay Crochet, and welcome to Friday Fun Live. Let me go ahead and adjust this a little bit. I'm trying to get where you can see the pretty flowers. Yay. Well, Merry Christmas, everybody. I'm looking forward to our time today. Don't have a huge agenda on my end. I just want to say, just interact with you guys and see how your Christmas is going or the Christmas holiday. Um, Really looking forward to family. Got family on the road heading south. So we're really looking forward to a wonderful time. I'm going to just jump right on in. I want to say hi to Love to Craft. Hey there. Thank you for being in our chat this morning and waiting so patiently. And Alana, Merry Christmas to you too. And Wanda Gordon, good to see you from Bahama, North Carolina. And she says, praying everyone stays healthy. Amen to that. And Anna sends season's greetings from Sweden. Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you for joining us. Wow, from so far away. And Kelly Hart's good to see you in the chat. She says, um, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. Just got an ukulele for an early Christmas gift. It is hard to tune up when you just got it for Christmas. Yes, Kelly, I have an ukulele too. It's a little fun thing to play. Check YouTube for all those tutorials. And yes, tuning that thing up is probably the best thing you can do first when you're learning, so you don't drive everybody else a little nutso. Coming from a musician here who drove her parents absolutely crazy with flutes and saxophones and all sorts of things over the years. And Phil, good to have you with us. Merry Christmas to you too. Hope you're staying safe out there. I have to tell you, there was my daughter Hannah is en route with my husband and passed an awful accident. I guess I shouldn't even have to tell you about that, but on 295 that totally shut the road down going north. And I'm just hoping that nobody was hurt, but knowing that Phil drives a tractor trailer, it just was painful to see one on its side on the highway, and it must not have been a good thing. But anyway, yeah, do be careful out there, Phil, and thank you for you and our other truck driver friend Wanda and any others that are in the chat. Thank you for all that you do for us to keep us supplied and everything, and in so many unseen ways behind the scenes. You guys are the fabric, really, of what keeps our country running, or really the world. But anyway. Oh, Kelly says she's crocheting a gorgeous shawl, and she's listening from Tucson, Arizona, one of my favorite states to visit. And Love to Craft says, about to enjoy my cup of coffee in a damp Southern California. I thought it never rained in Southern California. Just an old song there, right? She says, have fun. Yes. And just got a lot of comments load as we went live there. Says that she's enjoying the much needed rain. Good. And for um, uh, Nico, welcome to the chat. Wishing us all a Merry Christmas. Says, hope everyone is well and safe. Yes. All right. And Margita, good to have you in the chat. And Brat's mom, Merry Christmas, Bonnie, Hannah, and all my dear Yarnies from cool and cloudy Southwest Chicago suburbs. Blessings to all. Thank you so much for that blessing. That is so sweet. And okay. Oh, yes, that is sad, Kelly. Hitting animals is always sad. Yes. Thank you, Brat's mom. Yeah, this is my sweatshirt. You're gonna laugh at me, but one of my favorite places to shop is Big Lots. I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but one thing I've noticed is the customer service at Big Lots is fantastic, and I just every so often I find the best shirts there. This is my llama trio with the snowflakes, but got a great deal on it, so it's a lot of fun. I didn't really bring a lot of crocheted sweaters to wear for you. It's not exactly the climate, although we've had below freezing temps this week. This weekend's going to be warming up to be in the 70s, so it'll be very nice by Christmas. Let's see. Give me a second here. Slow brain. Beth, good to see you in the chat. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you and Teresa from Utah. Wow. And Red Hooked. Hey, good to see you in the chat too. And oh wow, she's visiting family in St. Augustine, Florida. That's a beautiful Florida town. I hope you enjoy that. And Barbara from Houston and Josie. Um, she says, my surgery was rescheduled, so I get to spend my Friday morning with you all. Hope everyone is doing well. Well, Josie, I hope your surgery goes well. Hang in there. I know sometimes waiting is harder when you get emotionally prepared for something and it doesn't happen. Oh, thank you, Wanda. She says, Merry first Christmas to your grandsons. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm looking forward to them getting here. They're not here yet, but they hopefully will be here sometime. um, Actually, they're not coming till at or after Christmas. So it's going to be a little bit of a wait. And Carol from Northern California, waving right back at you. And thank you. You have a Merry Christmas too. And Archer and Ace, Merry Christmas um, from Terry and Beth in Cleveland. Merry Christmas to you guys, to you ladies. And um, hope you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. And Phil says, well, I have some joyous news. I had my A1C done a couple days ago and my numbers are down by 2 points. Yay. Still very high, but 8.4 is much better than 10.4. Good for you, Phil. Yeah, we're in that age where those numbers mean something. I hope that continues. I know it's got to be hard being on the road all the time. I know this past summer I gained about like 10 pounds. And good news is I lost about 5 of them over the last 10 days. So I don't know if any of you guys have found them, but I don't want them back. So I know I picked a really terrible time to try to watch what I'm eating. And but anyway, I'm just thinking of the old adage that diet is die with a T. But actually, it's not too bad. I'm just trying to be very careful, just mostly for health concerns and also so I don't have to buy new clothes. But anyway, it's been good. I feel a little bit better now. Whether I maintain this through the holidays is another thing. I'm definitely pushing the pause button when family gets here, but yeah, I'm also working to try to get the blood chemistry on the healthy side so I don't have to go on medication. So I get that, Phil. Um, and Sharon, we have Sharon from Texas and Fatima. Merry Christmas to you. I haven't heard, hold on a second. I haven't heard that name really that I can remember since I was in high school. It's such a beautiful name. There was a gal I went to school with in Hialeah, Florida, named Fatima. Um, Oh, and Beth said she just finished one huge batch of cookies and will be doing another this afternoon. Oh, I'm going to be making some peanut butter fudge probably later this afternoon. I'm also going to be cooking down my sweet potatoes for the holiday and the family get together. I like to make a lot of things ahead of time and then, cover them up and put them in the freezer or the refrigerator so they're ready to go. I do have my recipe, however, if you want to make some easy peanut butter fudge, it is in the video description. Just click on that link and it'll take you to the video. And in the video description of the fudge video, you can just print off or, copy and paste the written recipe. For that, it's very easy. All you need is a cup of peanut butter, 16, I think, well, 1 pound, 16 ounces of powdered sugar, some cocoa, vanilla, and a stick of butter. And that's it. Not exactly a healthy snack, but a very tasty snack. And that's what the holidays are about, right? I wish I could taste those cookies for you, though, Beth. And we have, is it Gerda? Welcome to our chat. I'm sorry if I messed up your name there, but if you don't mind me pronouncing it wrong, I so appreciate you being here. um, and Terry says, good morning, everyone. San Diego, we finally getting some rain. Temperature is now 51. Going to the outdoor pool for aqua therapy, praying for everyone's well. Yes, thank you so much, Terry. And yeah, Barbara says, I fell asleep watching YouTube, woke up this morning to you doing a tutorial on a granny square. Oh boy, those are the archives. It's been a while. I guess it's been more than a year since I've done a granny square design, but years before that. Speaking of which, have you guys seen that new yarn out by Red Heart Yarns? I'm not a not they're not sponsoring me or anything like that. I was just mostly a curiosity thing. I've seen it. I haven't actually used it yet, but I'm just wondering if any of you like using that. I don't know how difficult it is to get the gauge right for that, but that does sound like a really fun way to do granny squares where you don't have to hide all those pesky knots. But as soon as I see that in the stores, I'm going to pick some up and see what I can do with it. Um, and Nico says, I was invited from neighbors for Christmas, but now I'm sick with COVID in my vacation. Oh, I'm so sorry, Nico. Yeah, a friend of my son's is had come down with it, but she's recovered and has a negative test, so she's good to come visit us. So I'm so excited about that. But I'm so sorry that this has hit you at this time. We do have to be careful out there, guys. I know it's the masks aren't popular and everything with some people, but if you're really, really trying to stay healthy for the holidays, just taking care to, elbow your way in and out of stores instead of touching those handles and just be careful where you can. I mean, don't have to be, excessive, but just be careful and I still try to. This is going to sound really bad, but for some of you, but I do try to keep my distance when I'm out and about. Just mostly because I just want to keep my babies safe, my little grandchildren, and I do want to be able to hold them. So I'm just trying to keep myself healthy. I don't want to get sick, but I don't want to get anybody else sick too. Um, Phil says, I'm at home for a few days, but back on the road on the 27th. Wow. Well, enjoy their days off. Um, and Charlotte says, all my 5 children played instruments, and my one son has a doctorate of music. Sweet. Looking forward to hear him play at Christmas Mass. I guess love your left-handed crochet videos. Thank you for what you do. Oh, thank you so much, Charlotte. I so appreciate that. I hope you have a wonderful service. Enjoy that. Yeah, I wish I could be in a place where I could play more. I thought about it. I'm just not prepared for something today, but yeah, it's such a gift of music this time of the year. And we have Ed and Maggie McAllister. Good to see you joining us from Virginia Beach. And Nancy, thank you so much for caring for us. And Kelly says it's raining in Tucson and Vale and thunderstorming. Whoo. Yeah, I love to craft says missing Hannah today, praying for traveling mercies upon her and your husband. Yeah, she's on the road right now, and she's not able to help us today, but we will hopefully see her next week, or she'll be in our chat taking care of us and answering all of our questions. So I'm going to mostly try to stick to the chat as much as possible. I do have some interesting news. I did earlier. Well, I guess you heard that I lost the game of Yarn Chicken. That's the bad news. This was on the final round of a new throw that I have coming for 2024. Probably will be in early February. I really love the way it turned out. All I need to do is block it. And my blocking mats are en route to me right now. But a shout out to Paintbox, to Lovecrafts and their Paintbox yarns. Even though they had to ship via Royal Mail from the UK, I got the 2 balls of yarn. I only needed to use one, but I wanted to have one extra just in case I miscalculated. And when you guys order yarn for this throw, I have used 21 balls of yarn for this upcoming new design that's coming in 2024. If I were you, I would order 22. If you're going to plan on joining me, it's an Easter themed throw. It's going to have a lot of meaning built into it. And like I said, I'm really excited. I chose each stitch specifically for a reason, as well as for beauty, I hope. So anyway, 21 of these is what I required to make the throw. And so that's it's about 4,200 yards of material. So that's, yeah, 4,200 yards is what I used to complete my throw. So if that's, I just let you know that because for those of you who have ordered from Lovecrafts before, and there is a link, it's an affiliate link in my video description below for this type of yarn. Uh, they have a lot of sales. They had a big sale where I ordered a bunch of stuff from them, and I got like 40. I just ordered 10 packs of yarn for them from them at like 40% off. Be looking for a sale. I know they have a sale now, but it's not that great. But it's just like a companies, they come around a lot with these sales. And look for the after Christmas, the day after Christmas. I would look if you're looking to get more of this yarn or other yarn that they may have. If you're looking for really great deals, look the day after Christmas. I know you guys know this, but I know Michael's and all those other places are going to have it too. But for me, it's just easy to buy from them because I can get all the balls of yarn I need in the same dye lot um, at one time and don't have to fret, over going from store to store to store, trying to find if they have, enough of one color. And usually stores don't, which is the main reason why I like to buy online. But don't worry, I do spend lots of other money in store as well, just not for large projects like this. But again, thank you, Love to Craft, for your prayers on Hannah and my family. Jacqueline says it says from Good Morning from a Wet Los Angeles. It may not rain, but it pours. Yeah, I know what that looks like. And I know why. I know, because I know when it does rain, water runs off, and I totally get that. I was in a rainstorm in El Paso, Texas, many years ago. While it was during a time when my older daughter Becky and I were on a missions trip to Rancho 3M, of one of the places that we support here on our channel, and it was very dry most of the time. But when it did rain, the ground is so hard it doesn't absorb the water, so it just kind of turns everything into rivers immediately. So yeah, I totally understand how that works. And Linda Jones says, very, very cold in Portland, Maine, but not having a white Christmas this year. It's probably too cold to snow. Well, Wanda telling Beth about the cookies here. We're doing our traditional gingerbread cookies tomorrow with kids and grandkids. Oh, that's so wonderful. And Nico says, what a nice sweater. Thank you, Nico. And is it Mickey or Mickey's Crochet Nook, if I'm saying that right? It says hello to you too. Thank you for joining us. Hold on a second. Let's see if we can. Okay. I thought we might be getting an administrator. Hold on. Give me a second here. Let me just tell her something. All right. So we're winging it today. We're doing, hopefully we won't have any bad actors, but guys, if you see any comments that are inappropriate, feel free to flag them, okay, if you can. But I don't think we're going to have a problem with that today. Fingers crossed. Kimberly Hart says, Merry Christmas from Wisconsin. Have been going through the booklets I recently purchased and planning my next project. Yay. That's always so much fun. And Nancy, so glad that you could be with us, and Jacqueline, and Sheila, welcome to our chat, and Casey from Florence, Oregon. Wow. And Bonnie L, Merry Christmas, everyone. It's a pleasant day in Niagara Falls, USA. Wasn't sure there'd be a broadcast today. Yeah, this Not sure what next week looks like, but as always, just check social media. I'm not sure where I'm going to be actually. I don't know if I'll be on the road next week or here or um, so. Just stay tuned, and I will let you know. And we have okay. Is it Mickey's? It's a Mich. I don't know if I'm mispronouncing that. If it's a ch or a k. I'm not sure, but anyway, she says happy holidays from Oklahoma. Wow. Um, Great. Thank you for joining us. And Josie wants to know if I'll be sharing more about the upcoming knitting class today. I will put a little plug into that. I do need to get I need to get some technical help from my guys once they get here on setting this up this to setting it up with my PayPal for payment. But I do need to do that. But I am planning on hosting a beginning class. This is a Zoom class. It's beginning knitting for crocheters, where I will teach you the Continental method, and there will be a discount for our watch subscribers, and I will let you know about that. But I currently it will be $55 for a 2-session class. 2 sessions on 2 separate days, each 2 hours in length. And the reason I'm doing it that way is have one that's more heavy into the teaching, and then you'll have time to practice, and then come back and then join me again for another 2-hour session. And then we'll clean up any questions and maybe take it up a notch if people are ready to do that. The first class, the 2 sessions are January 9th and January 16th. I believe that's a Tuesday. That's from 2 to 4. And then the other will be January 11th and 18th. I think that's a Thursday. And that's for the evening from 7 to 9 p.m. And again, Eastern time. So, like if you're on the West Coast, that would be 4. That would be 4 to 6 for you. So I don't know if that's going to be late enough for you guys, but let me know. Communicate with me. I haven't set that in stone yet, but that is the current plan. As soon as I can, I will be sending out the links where people can sign up. There are only a very limited number of classes. I'm sorry, seats. I'm going to limit it to 15 for each class. And depending on how that goes will determine whether I do the class again, if other people want to do that, and also offering other classes on Zoom. So again, I'm just stepping out in faith, just expanding a little bit on that. And if you have not signed up for my newsletter, please consider doing that. You can go to look at the video description below, or you can just go to my website, bonniebay.com, and you'll come to the home page. And if you scroll down to the bottom of that, you can sign up for my newsletter. It's free. I don't send it out every day. I promise you, I don't have that much time. I send it out probably once every week to every 2 weeks. And it just communicates everything that's coming up. And if you get that newsletter, you'll have privy to sign up, because I will start first with my watch subscribers. And then after I've given them a day, I'm going to go to my newsletter subscribers. And then after that, I will finish it off in social media. But that's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. Um, and speaking of another opportunity for the watch subscribers, in case those of you don't know what that is, it is a private, commercial-free way to view my videos. It's spam-free, ad-free, and whenever I release new designs, you have the complimentary pattern that you can just download from the site. There are many other patterns that you can also download from there, and it is $69.50 per year or $6.95 a month. Of course, if you do the math, the $69.50 saves you about 2 months worth of fees, so it is a little bit cheaper. And just to let you know, I mentioned this last week. We now have speed control on Vimeo. Yay! So what that means is you can slow the video down to any speed. You can slow it down or you can speed it up. And it's the same way as it is on YouTube. There's a little gear-shaped icon at the bottom of the screen. You may have to stop the video to see that, but or you can hover your cursor over, the bottom, the right hand bottom of the screen. Now on an iPhone, it's like the top of the screen, upper right hand corner. But or your whatever phone, you just have to check your phone. It might be different. But if you click on that and you bring up playback speeds, and you can change it to however you want, and that's for all the videos on both platforms. And just as far as those complementary patterns are concerned, in 2023, the monetary value in my Lovecraft store of purchasing all the releases that I had last year. And this is not all the patterns that I worked on. I worked on others that were in copyrighted material that I don't own, but the ones that I released for sale, the value comes to $131.76, which is a lot more than the $69.50 a year. If of course that's if you're buying all the patterns, and I know many of you won't. But I'm just saying that is, I think, an added value. And also, I don't track your viewing habits or any of that, and your information is never shared. And as they say, that's kind of priceless, right? So you don't have to worry about companies coming after you because you've clicked on something or whatever. At least not on that site. Everything else, oh well. Um, so yeah. And also I mentioned last week, and I'll mention earlier in the broadcast here. Last week I calculated all the yarn that I used in the designs that I released on my public YouTube channel and the Watch channel. And it came to over 46,000 yards, which comes down to 138,000 feet of yarn, or 26.1 miles, just a tenth of a mile short of a marathon. So I'm going to just call it a marathon, because of course that number didn't include all the times I ripped out, or the several designs I made that didn't quite cut it for me, didn't quite meet the muster that I was hoping it would. So anyway, let's get back to the chat here. Tammy says, okay, Merry Christmas from a soggy Oregon. Ew. And Nico says, we have 37 degrees Fahrenheit, rainy and stormy. A little further up north, they have a flood. Here, luckily, not yet. Oh, yeah. Hold on one second. Let me grab something over here. Yeah, speaking of floods, I forgot to tell you, we had a nor'easter come through this area near Myrtle Beach, and it was quite wicked. I don't think anybody got hurt in our area, to my knowledge, but it did take the roof off the old Waccamaw pottery. Apparently, a tornado. It was about 7 miles away from us, so not real close, thank goodness. But it was yeah, some significant water came down. We got over 10 inches of rain in a 24-hour period in that storm. So it was significant, and it brought with it 20, degree weather for the evening. So that was quite an interesting storm. Had it been cold enough before, we might have, gotten a lot of snow. Sandra says, Merry Christmas to all, Bonnie and family. Thank you. I appreciate that, Sandra. And Linda wants to know, who's getting a white Christmas if Maine isn't? That's a good question. From what I heard, the last weather report I heard, I don't know if it was local, I think it was national. It looked pretty clear, which is good for travel. If you guys have people flying in to be with family, that's very good news if there's not a lot of storms. But I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. And Sandra says, this is my first live chat with you. Oh, thank you. Thank you for your kind words, Sandra. And she's joining us from Greece, New York. Wow. I had to look for the New York. It's like, oh, Greece. That's cool. I didn't realize there was a city by that name in New York. I'm not the most geography literate person around, obviously, but anyway. Rebecca joining us. Thank you so much. And And Gracie's Place says, Merry Christmas to Bonnie and all your family. Blessings from Northern Ireland. Oh, thank you, Gracie. Oh, I would so love to visit Northern Ireland sometime. I really want to go back. I just want to visit the whole island and the Isles. Um, would love to go some of those islands off the coast of England too. I think that would be such a cool trip to be able to do. Um, and Barbie is in our chat. Good morning. She said 2 is that 2 degrees Fahrenheit? I think that may be what she's saying. Practicing cables and loving it. Yay. Well, join the club. I love cables. And Sheila, very nice very nice Christmas would be a winter wonderland. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Yeah, I think I told you before. I only had one white Christmas that I can remember in my entire life. I was born and raised in South Florida, so that has a lot to do with it. Um, and even though I've been in Maryland, we've always traveled south to be with family. So the only time I remember spending Christmases in Maryland or in Massachusetts when we lived up there was well, really, it was in Maryland. It was when my children were sick and couldn't travel, and we didn't get snow those years. And but the one year, 1989, for those of you from the North and South Carolina area, you remember the winter of 1989. In Myrtle Beach here, we had like 18 inches of snow. There was a storm system. It was a nor'easter that parked off the coast and didn't move for like a day or two. And I remember looking outside the window as I'm looking out the window here and seeing a road grader go down the road trying to clear some of the snow because areas in the South like this, there's no reason to have snow removal equipment or large, storage places of salt and sand because you need them like once every 40 years. So there's no reason to invest in that. So when it does snow, it's interesting. So when you guys up north, don't laugh at the South, when things get a little bit go awry when we get weather like that. It's just that we don't get that kind of weather down here. So it's it's not, and for those of you who are in the South that have never lived up north, when you're in an area that has snow, they've got a whole fleet of big tractors that push the snow off the roads and highways and sanding trucks, salt trucks, and stuff like that. So to take care of that. But anyway, you guys probably know all about that. I didn't know anything about that till I moved north because growing up in Florida, the only thing we worry about is can I go swimming in the surf today? So anyhow, we have is it Simila from Finland? Wow. Thank you for joining us. Well, I so appreciate your kind comment. And let's see. Yeah. And so Charlene, oop, everything just went ahead of me. I'm way behind. Oh gosh, I'm way behind. Uh Charlene, you're right. Charlene says, hello, Bonnie and everyone. Merry Christmas. Happy birthday, Jesus. Amen to that. It's 60 degrees and rainy in O'Fallon, Missouri. Hope everyone is healthy and happy, enjoying all the Christmas spirit. Thank you, Charlene. That reminds me of what we used to do with our kids. We used to make a birthday cake for Jesus, and that would be part of our Christmas Eve celebration. And yep, Sandra said, yes, this Christmas is your 2 grandbabies for Christmas. So sweet. Yep, even though it'll be kind of after, but it's just the season that we're celebrating. And yeah, now we're getting into our A1Cs here with Rebecca. Yeah. Good for you, Rebecca. And in Mickey's Crochet Nooks, is it 63 and rainy here? It does not feel like Christmas at all. Well, actually, yeah, I guess it just depends on where you're from. Yeah, if you guys are sad about not having a white Christmas, think of it this way. The first Christmas wasn't a white Christmas. It was probably pretty warm in Israel. So, and it's very rare for them to get snow. So the first Christmas, you just, palm leaves and, camping outside in caves, having babies, quite different than what we've come to expect. Um, Oh, let's see. I so miss Hannah. Yeah, give yes, yeah, Nikki's encouraging Rebecca. Amen to that. Um, and Gail, good to have you with us. Um, let's see. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you too, Gail. Thank you so much. Let's see. I'm gonna skip over some conversation. Okay, I love the crafts concerning the granny yarn, the granny square yarn by Red Heart. She says she's seen some videos about that, but hasn't tried it yet. Yeah. Um, and Barbie says the granny square yarn is way overpriced. I haven't seen it in the store to know, so I'll have to look and see. I can understand though if it's a little bit pricier because it's probably a little trickier to dye the way they have done it, but they probably have to go through some extra steps to get it that way. And Mickey's Crochet Index says it's a clever engineered yarn, but nothing new. Katia brand has a yarn just like it. I did not know that. Of course, if you're looking for granny square everything, I have some of that on my channel, but that's not my thing. Um, I kind of outgrew granny. Oh, I'm not going to say anything negative because I know I'm going to offend people, but um, I just kind of moved on from that a while back. But I know there are a lot of people that absolutely love granny squares. I enjoy it to a point, um, but I guess I like a kind of a wider palette, when it comes to interest. Kind of narrows when it gets to cables, but yeah, I like to branch out a little bit. Um, and when Jenny joins us from Florida, Merry Christmas, Jenny. And let's see. Yeah, I'm glad you've been able to stay healthy, Charlene. Um, and Phil wants to know, do I have any interest in producing a Fair Isle crochet pattern, perhaps a winter scarf? That's an interest, Phil. That's an idea. I'm just trying to figure, if I could figure out a way to do it, that looks good. Um, Yeah, I mean, I have to think about that. I've thought about that, doing it in the round uh, for a yoke of a sweater. I'm actually going to be doing uh, a yoked sweater with a lot of color work that's knit, but it's not my original design. It's one that I purchased, and I showed you all last week, the one I purchased from Knit Picks. So yeah, I really like that, but I hadn't thought about a scarf. That's an idea that might be less complicated than a yoke of a sweater. The only thing about that, because I really like the way well, it's complicated. I should probably have yarn in front of me to show, but there's a certain way I have in my head that I think it would look best. But you have to do that with the front side facing only, which is why it works best in rounds. That's why knitted sweaters with the yokes are knitted in round. It's just the way the colors and the stitching goes. It's just really nice. I have this stray hair that keeps getting in my eye, which is bugging me. Okay. But thanks for the idea, Phil. I will see what I can do. Um, and the other thing is too, I also like to look at patterns out there, but I'd like to see it, if it's something that I can improve on, but if there are excellent patterns already there, I'll see if I find any this week. And if I see, I'll let you know. Um, but I will think about that. I remember seeing some in a Knit Picks Crochet Me magazine a couple years ago that were really beautiful. Okay. Um, and let's see. Looks like Kelly got some more yarn from a coworker. That's great. And is it is it Sean Marie, if I was saying that right? Anyway, Phillips, sorry. Uh, Merry Christmas, Bonnie, from Washington State, and I love, love, love your creations. Oh, thank you so much. I so appreciate that. You guys are so sweet. Um, and Ed and Maggie wanted if that paint box yarn is for a while. I finally caught up to that conversation. Yeah, that is paint box yarn. It's worsted weight, number 4. And of course, with the throw that I was telling you about, if you don't want to use paint box yarn, no problem. I don't get, if you use the affiliate link, I do benefit a little bit, but you use whatever you prefer and use what you can source in your area for sure. I mean, uh, don't feel like you have to chase for what just this one type of yarn. I mean, you can. I don't like to tie people to that. It's just something that I like. I like this yarn, but you can use whatever. If you can find a great sale, before or after the holidays, go for it. Just remember, you need about 4,200 yards for the upcoming throw, and it is an Easter throw, so it's an Easter themed throw. So if that's not your thing, um, just be warned. It is kind of a pigeonholed subject here, so very important one to me. But anyway, um, all right. We have Jay Liz with us, wishing us a Merry Christmas. Thank you so much. Um, uh, and Nico says, after finishing all my Christmas crochet gifts, I finally started with the Abigail shawl. Waited long enough, but gifts were more important. Yeah, 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 yeah. In fact, I don't know if you follow me on social media, I haven't really put out much. There was the hat. Do I have it with me? Do I have it in here? Nope, nope. Do I not have it here? Of course not. Oh, I do have it. Yay. I did something right. Um, there is this I released. It was actually a re-release of an older design. This is it's basically a circle of braids, but in French. Beret, and the inside is like this. And I don't have the yarn label with me, but I use Cascade Yarns 220. This is a worsted weight yarn. This is 100% Peruvian wool, which I felt was very wonderful to work with. Of course, again, if you have a number 4 weight of anything in your stash, you can pull it out and you can have one of these made in. If you know the braid stitch, the braided cable, you could probably have one of these in 2 hours, maybe 3 at the most. It took me maybe 2 hours, and that's with recording it. So anyway, these work up really quick for gifts, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Um, what I was trying to say is that a lot of my big Christmas push really starts in October, and I know some people outside of the crafting world thinks, oh, that's way too early and blah 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 blah. You can't do anything until after Thanksgiving. Well, if you're a crafter, you can't get anything done if you wait till after Thanksgiving. If you don't have by the time your kids go back to school in September, if you have no clue as to what you're going to make and you're going to make gifts for people, and I'm not saying you have to, I didn't make anything. This is really revolutionary. I didn't make anybody a crochet gift this year. I might give the hat away as a gift, but I didn't plan on anything. And mostly because since I've been doing this for so long, everybody has something that I've made. Actually, there is a one big gift I am giving away to somebody. I'm giving away my winter white throw to a couple. But other than that, I didn't make anything for anybody this year, and that's not because I don't like anybody. It's just that everybody has something that I've made already. So I just opt for other things that I know that they would enjoy. But anyway, yeah, you really need to start early on those Christmas gifts, and you veterans know that. um, but yeah, that is really thoughtful though of you to Nico, to make things for everybody, get that done, and then you can enjoy, relaxed crochet. Uh, oh, thank you, Cynthia, for the reminder to like and hit the thumbs up if you can. That is wonderful. And if you are in a pinch and somebody comes up on your list at the last minute and you do need a last minute gift, look in the video description. I do have a playlist to this YouTube channel of a lot of quick, and most of them are easy. Some have some cables in them, but It's about a 50-50 break. About half of them or so are, I think, easy. And there's some intermediate stuff, but things that work up, quickly that you can use from your stash mostly. So check that out if you're in the dire straits about that. Um, or you can just remember that Christmas is not just about the gifts. There are more important things to focus on. And I'm going to read something about that in just a bit. But yeah, and just hanging out with family and getting together with others and showing them love is probably so much more important even than the gifts. Um, oh yay, Gail says the gauge works out perfectly. I'm not sure what that's in reference to, but I probably missed something. Sorry about that, Gail. Um, and Grace is joining us from Washington State. And yeah, and Kelly and Nico says to Kelly, somehow yarn is kind of the best gift for crocheters and knitters. Yes, and somebody in my family is getting some very special yarn. Not me, I'm giving some to somebody who will be unnamed for the broadcast, but something I picked up at the Dallas Fort Worth DFW Fiber Festival. Can't wait till they open it. I hope they like it. Um, oh, okay, where am I? Hey, Jan, so glad that you could be here with your yarny friends. Yes, and thank you, Jay Liz, about the sweatshirt. And Ramona, great to have you. Says Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from my family to yours from Anchorage, Alaska. Brr, just gave me a chill, Ramona. It's so beautiful up there. That I tell you, your state is one place that I have on my bucket list that I would love to visit, whether it be by land, plane, or boat. I'd love to do all three, actually. Um, and Charlene says, I bought some yarn with wool in it and found out I'm allergic to wool. My hands and fingers puffed up and itched till I thought I would lose my mind. Okay, I am so sorry to hear that, Charlene. Well, now you know, and um, just to let you know, there's a friend of mine who's also a designer, Brenda Berg. She's also very much allergic to wool, which is a real bummer if you're a crochet designer like she is. But she has found some other really nice yarns that you can use instead. If you can find alpaca, um, it's not the same as wool. It's very soft. It's not doesn't have the elasticity of wool. But just to let you know, it just be you may not be allergic to alpaca because that's part of the camelid family of animals. Um, but if that yarn is processed, we're in the same place on the same equipment where wool is processed, that could also affect you. So you want to be careful. I say that to you because if you try alpaca and find out that you're allergic to it too, it's probably because it's been processed in a wool processing plant. Um, but I think it is probably, or most likely, it's the losing the word for it, but it's the oils that are a part of the wool that you are reacting to. And so sorry. So sorry to hear that. Merry Christmas to you too, Jan. Um, yeah, Phil says that's a shame, Charlene. It really is because some of the wool, this just the way that the wool takes the dye is so different than than the acrylics. I like all yarn. I'm not, prejudiced against any of them. I love it all. I promise you, and I don't prefer one over the other. It just depends on the yeah, on the item. But that's a bummer. Uh, and Nico says, "Oh no, that's so mean. Is it really the wool, or maybe some chemicals used with the yarn? Allergic to wool. That's awful." I remembered the word now that I read your comment, Nico. It's the lanolin, which is the natural found oils in the wool. Now, that said, I hate to tell you this and then find out you're allergic to it as well, but you might want to see. I'm wondering if the wool was superwash wool, or was it more of a a more natural raw format, because I know superwash merino wool goes through a process that takes a lot of the spring out of the yarn. Um, but there is a lot of that out there on the market. I don't know. I'm just thinking. I don't want you to swell up again to try, but maybe ask if you can find somebody else who's allergic to see if they notice a difference between the wools. I'll ask my crocheter friend about that and maybe get back to you on that. But that is so sad. I'm so sorry to hear that. Um, and I guess Jan's responding to my crocheting a marathon. She's like, "Wow, that's wowzer. That's a lot of yarn." Yes, it is. And that's just the designs that were actually released that made the cut. That's not all the ripping out. That's not the. That's why I say I can go ahead and say it's probably been a marathon. If you consider the sweater that I made and didn't, I just hated the yarn so much, and I didn't like the design. It didn't do right. I didn't. I just ripped it up, and then I got so tired of the yarn. The yarn wasn't even. I so disapproved of the yarn and the pulling out process that I didn't even give the yarn to somebody else because I didn't want them to be aggravated with it. So, not counting those miles of yarn at all, or the things that I've done for 2024. But anyway, yeah. So it's a lot. And we have DC says, "Hey Bonnie, best wishes for Christmas and New Year ahead to you and your family. God bless." Thank you so much, DC. So glad that you could join us. And Jan says, "Was thinking about you when I picked up this book, The Noom Mindset: A Christmas Gift to Myself." I hope you enjoy that. I'm I'm kind of doing that now, but I'm not purchasing the the program because I know how the program works. I'm just doing it on my own. And for those of you who didn't know this, if you're and this is not body shaming or any of that. But if you wanted, you can get the app on your phone for free and just track calories, and that doesn't cost anything. And you can do that on your own if you know what's food is good and bad, and you can still get an analysis of what categories the food that you just ate falls into. And and I just stay within a certain calorie allotment, and it just really helps me a lot. And I'm not using the program because I've done it before, and it was very effective. As long as I stay on the horse, as they say, and don't fall off the wagon, I do pretty well with it. So I hope Jan, you can always contact me. Let me know what you think on that. I've just been through it enough to know what they're going to say when this and that happens. So I just do it on my own. Thank you, Wanda, for the thumbs up. And we have Arts A Mimosa de Rose. Welcome. Buenos dias, amigo. Um, and Stacy says, "Merry Christmas from Cincinnati, Ohio, one of my favorite cities in the whole wide world. May you have a peaceful weekend." Thank you, Stacy. I get nostalgic thinking of my mom and dad whenever I hear about Cincinnati. Um, Jan says, "Snow is overrated at this time in my life." Amen, Jan. I used to tell everybody I grew up in South Florida, dreaming, absolutely dreaming of when I could play in snow and go sledding and skiing and all that. Have been able to do some skiing just when I was younger. Uh, I'm not sure my abs can and my legs can handle that now, but as I like to tell people, that dream has been fulfilled. We're moving on to another one. But I love snow as long as I don't have to go anywhere. But yeah, it is overrated. Um, and thank you. Feliz Navidad to you too. And Kelly says, "Did you post a couple of?" Okay. I have not posted anything yet from you, Kelly. No, I believe it kind of got lost in the shuffle when I transitioned, but I still have them on my computer. And Wanda Gordon says, "I remember 1989. That's the Snowmageddon in South Carolina." Says, "We were living in Goldsboro, North Carolina." Oh, yeah. It was crazy. I have to tell you another story about that. I've told it before, but it was a Christmas, 1989. It was uh, my turn to go to South Florida to spend Christmas Day with my parents. So that means, driving down there, usually on Christmas Eve from South Carolina, because we were up up north. So we'd have to drive one day to the Carolina and then another day of driving down to South Florida and Hialeah. And we couldn't make the drive on Christmas Eve because the bridges on I-95 through Jacksonville, Florida were closed. So the roads were closed due to ice on bridges in Florida. So that's how cold it was. So we had to wait till the next day. So we traveled all day long on Christmas Day. We had Christmas dinner at the Waffle. Well, we had Christmas lunch at the Waffle House, and then we're able to cruise in to see my parents by the end of that day on the 25th. Crazy times. And then we froze when we were down there at my house in South Florida because my parents didn't have central heat because you don't need central heat. It was cold. It was cold, and it did damage to a lot of orange crops. But anyway, yeah, that was yes, Wanda. Uh, I'll forget what I had for lunch yesterday, but I remember 1989 for the winter, absolutely. And Jenny says Christmas of '89. It snowed in Palatka in Gainesville, Florida. Yeah, we had to travel down. Well, not in Gainesville. That's a bit west of where we were, but yeah, Jacksonville was shut down with ice too. It was crazy. Hey, Kelly Dies, good to have you here in the chat. Merry Christmas to you. Yeah, Jan's encouraging Rebecca. That's so sweet. Yeah, getting those numbers down. And Barbie says we did birthday cakes for Jesus also. That is so cool. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the first name. But anyway. Oh, wow. Josie says, I rewatched The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe the other day because I kept hearing it was a Christmas movie. After rewatching it, I'd argue it's an Easter movie. Anyway, happy birthday, Jesus. Oh, you're going to make me cry. It's a beautiful story. I read that whole series of books to my kids. She's referring to the Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. Highly recommend them. We read those books and loved them. And so in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, in case you all aren't familiar with the story, it's this wicked witch has control of Narnia. And so she makes it so it's always winter but never Christmas. So yeah, that's why she thought it might have been it is kind of both, because if you but certainly you wouldn't have Christmas without Easter, right? And you wouldn't have Easter without Christmas. So yeah, they're connected. And Nikki's Crochet Nook says, I'm originally from Germany, especially miss our fall and winter months. Oh, I bet you do probably miss Oktoberfest and everything. Sometimes we get snow here in Oklahoma, but this December feels unusually warm. Yeah, weather is constantly changing. And Brat's mom says, I don't need a white Christmas. I don't want to shovel it. Yeah. Well, guys, if we have to shovel it at our house, this is the first time in 20 years at my house in Maryland where we have a driveway we can shovel instead of a rocky dirt driveway. We have a paved driveway. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to shoveling it this year, as we won't be shoveling all the driveway rocks and dirt and millings into our grass. We'll just be clearing snow. So that's going to be kind of fun. There goes that hair again. All right. How far am I into, let's see. And Bonnie L says, I just recently saw photos of the same storm that hit HHI, South Carolina. Okay, I'm sorry. My brain's not functioning well to get the abbreviation. Sorry, but yeah, it was quite a storm, Bonnie. And Joni says, Joanne's has the Granny Square yarn. Lots of fun colors. Not interested. Yeah, that's the other thing about that is once you buy that Granny Square yarn, you've got to keep it up with that. You can't use your yarn scraps or it'll be so different. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, some people are going to like it. I can see the drawl of it, but yeah, but the original intent of the granny square was usually just using up your scraps anyhow. This was years ago. And Nico says, yeah, all stormy and rainy here. Does not look like snow for the next few days. Okay, yeah. And Joyce, it's good to have you here. And Josie said, I actually just made my first granny square blanket. I'm not a beginner, but I just avoided them because of the sewing them together. Finally did it recently. It's so tedious. Not my favorite, but cute. Yeah, that's why I've never, you remember the ones that were in the store? This is in the 1970s. They had usually were trimmed in black or white, usually black are the ones I saw. And they were in kits and, all of these make 150 squares and then you sew them all together. I was never drawn to that myself. I mean, I do like some granny square designs. I did make some, but not a whole blanket. Yeah, I get kind of bored with that myself. But I do things that I get bored with. I just mix it up and have multiple things going at the same time so that I don't have to just do that alone. Um, and Mickey's Crochet is laughing at with Nico and says, makes me feel a little better. Yeah. And Barbie says, I like learning new all the time, but at Christmas, I make Granny Square purses for shelters and food banks. They always go fast. Yes. And I will say, I will say, I enjoy doing, for example, the Granny Square baby blanket I have on my channel. It's one of the most popular, but it's not the traditional, bunch of squares that you sew together. You just do one square and you keep going and going and going, and it goes like that. And if you get color changing yarn, it's very fun. The long color changing yarn, not the granny square stuff, because the granny square stuff they're selling is just for the little squares that you sew together, which is fine. Lynn, good to see you in a chat, my sister. She says, "Thank the Lord for you today." Oh, you are so sweet. Ah, Lynn, you get the Encourager Award, my friend. You are so sweet, and praying for you and your family. Just to want you to know that. Just haven't forgotten uh, what a rough year it's been for you guys, and just pray that you just have a wonderful time. I know it's really tough. It can be a tough time of year, and I can't talk about it too much because I'll start losing it because I too have had a tremendous loss this time of the year, but just try to stay focused on encouraging others and yeah, and focusing on the reason for the season. Margaret, Merry Christmas from Washington State. She says, thank you for teaching me cables. I'm addicted. Yes. Making your latest poncho currently. Love it. Well, I love to hear that because I know there are many people out there I frustrate with these things, but that's not my goal. My goal is to teach. And I'm so glad that you're enjoying that. That blesses me more than anything, Margaret. Um, okay, thank you, Kelly, for sharing that. Saying that Brianna K Designs has a lot of Fair Isle patterns in crochet where the stitch she uses looks like knit. Yeah, that's the stitch I'm thinking of using, where you actually put the hook into the center of the single crochet. That's the way I would want to design some Fair Isle. But thank you for sharing that with our truck driver friend, Kelly. And Barbie says, I love working in the round to make baskets. Cable crochet basket patterns are rare. I just improvise with your patterns and others. Go for it, Barbie. Absolutely. That's why I want you guys to learn these things. Yeah, make your own designs with this, please. And Freaky Geek, Merry Christmas to you. It's good to see you in the chat, even though I'm very late getting to it. Okay, Josie, the Easter throw, I'll say that again. 4,200 or 4,200 yards is what I required. So if you need more than that, what I would recommend is by 4,400. Not, and this is not so that you have too much yarn, but just so that you have yarn enough in case your gauge is just a slightly bigger or off from mine, which doesn't matter as much on a throw as long as you like the fabric, but it does matter if you run out of yarn. So anyway, um, I have so many other questions here. Freaky Geeks front and backyards. You know what I'm talking about, Freaky Geek. Good joke, though. Yeah, and Phil says, to be fair, most Fair Isle patterns are knit. Yeah. I don't know if you knit or not, Phil, but it's not as hard. I went over to the dark side of the force. This is a joke. It's a joke with my daughter and I. When she learned to knit, she learned to knit before I did. And I said, "Oh, you're going to go up to the dark side." And we laughed. I teased her about it. And then I learned, and I said, I needed to go to the dark side because I heard they had cookies over there. No, actually, but when I went over to the dark side of the force, joke again, please, if you're a knitter, please don't be offended. I am just poking fun. We learned I learned that, and I believe this honestly, that knitting is it's easier than crochet. Once you understand the knit and the purl, I mean, there are two stitches and you do variations, and yeah, you have to learn tips and tricks, and yeah. But once you learn to knit and to purl, well, of course, to cast on, you've got it. I mean, and you can use the muscle memory that you already have in full use with your crochet and transfer it to continental knitting. And you can get it. So anyway, it is easier in some ways. So anyway, only 2 stitches to learn. So I'm going to encourage Phil. I don't know. Anyway, need to learn to knit, Phil. You can make some great stuff. And thank you, Kelly. She likes the beret. Thank you so much. Oh, great. And Teresa made one too and said it turned out lovely. Excellent. Hold on. Hannah's asking, how did the live go? Hold on. Still going, Hannah. All right. Let her know if she wants to join us. Now she's not going to be able to. She's on the road. All right. Well, yeah. And Sheila says with Caron 1 pounder, you would need, this is concerning that throw that's coming out in 2024. Said you'd need 5.27 skeins. So 6. Yeah, definitely round up. If you do the division by how many yards, definitely round up to buy that extra one. And Hannah just texted me and said, say hi to everyone. So I'm saying hi to everybody from Hannah. Let me just see if there are any. I hope I didn't miss any questions from anybody, but I do need to start winding down here. Let me just look to see if there. Oh my goodness. Mickey's Crochet Nook says, I just weighed. Merry Christmas to me. I lost 44 pounds since last Christmas. That's amazing. That is amazing. Good for you, sweetheart. That is great. And it looks like Cynthia is making her husband a cardigan with back loop stitches. Wow, looks like knit, but he's a big guy, so it's a lot of work. But it's coming out really nice. Oh, send me a picture, Cynthia. I'd love to see that. And Anna says her kids love Narnia too. Read all the books to them. Yeah, they are fantastic books. I love C.S. Lewis. Reading C.S. Lewis books early on in college was very instrumental in helping me grow in my Christian walk. Really great stuff. And Tammy, thank you for your comment. It says, Merry Christmas, Bonnie. Love to all of you. Christmas is once a year is because of the birth of our Lord. Celebrate the love he gives us. Absolutely. Wow. And Archer says, when I give someone a scarf with braids or any pretty stitches, I get compliments. I say the same thing I say when lecturing. I just say the words. Okay, great. And okay. All right. Well, let me go ahead. And I want to read Tammy's comment. Christmas means many things to people and children, sad and happy times, but teaching the reason for the season to children, they'll remember it and it will bring a smile on their face and heart in the future. Oh, absolutely. Well, let me read. I want to read. I don't even, here it is. See, I didn't even have the page ready. Just wanted to read this. It's a song by Lewis Render and Philip Brooks. It's called "O Little Town of Bethlehem." I just wanted to read the words to this. These are just, sometimes you just hear them better when they're not being sung to a tune for some reason. O little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie. Above thy deep and dreamless sleep, the silent stars go by. Yet in thy dark streets shineth the everlasting light. The hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight. For Christ is born of Mary and gathered all above. While mortals sleep, the angels keep their watch of wondering love. O morning stars together, proclaim the holy birth, and praises sing to God the King, and peace to men on earth. How silently the wondrous gift is given. So God imparts to human hearts the blessings of his heaven. No ear may hear his coming, but in this world of sin, where meek souls, listen to that, where meek souls will receive him still, the dear Christ enters in. Yeah, he does. O holy child of Bethlehem, descend to us, we pray. Cast out our sin and enter in, be born in us today. We hear the angels, the great glad tidings tell. O come to us, abide with us, our Lord Emmanuel. Well, I want to wish you all just a wonderful, holy Christmas and a happy new year. If I don't see you until 2024, I'm hoping to be here next week, but we'll see what happens. If not, just check social media. But in the meantime, just have a wonderful time with family, and I hope to see you next week. God bless. Bye-bye.